Hello and welcome to Let's Play Master of Orion 2. This is episode 42. And with episode 42 there comes great galvanizing war. Even now my fleet is on its way to Orion to engage the Psilon fleet in the final battle to determine who will rule the galaxy and who will be the master of Orion. They sit there now, keeping it warm for me. It is time to go claim the prize. And that's how I see that. Alright, so they still have their fleet concentrated at Orion. Greetings, Psilons. Humanity breeds. Greetings, Psilons. Humanity bids you death. Alright, this is such a ridiculously large battle. One thought I had was maybe that I would do it on auto. I'm really hoping that the computer that I'm letting autopilot my ships will make sound decisions about who to target and about targeting the vulnerable and the weak. I'm hoping that's what happens. I'm not really sure what this purple glow is supposed to represent. I never have. I'll have to figure that out someday. I always wondered if it meant that was some sort of like space fire. Are they on fire? Are they emitting plasma or what? So far I approve of the battle, but I haven't done enough to destroy individual ships. I've like spread the damage around too much. I need to see much bigger gaping holes in the forces of the Psilons.
Need to fucking eat really.
Well, the battle goes well. I don't think I'm doing enough to pick off their members. Yes, yes, continue your destruction. Sure, I'm glad I attacked first. I don't think I would have been able to have done this if I had waited for them to attack me. And what's weirder is they may never have attacked me. They apparently were content to coexist with humanity indefinitely. But as the Highlander knows, there can only be one, and I am that one. Oops. I would say I have destroyed about a third of the Psilon fleet. That's pretty impressive, actually. I wasn't sure I would get that far into it. My refurbished fleet, complemented by battleships, is a thing to behold. In fact, one thought I had is after the refurbishing, after I retrofitted the ship, if you look at it, I have 20 heavy disruptors on a Doomstar, while a Knight, let me scan it. I have 20 heavy disruptors. This Knight has 9, so it's like half a Doomstar. My battleships are worth half a Doomstar. This fleet was optimized for a strike-first scenario, and I guess the Psilons made themselves easy bait. It took time and it took persistence, but it seems like this challenge I knew how to meet. Earlier in the game, against the Bulrathi and against the Mershan, and then when I expanded to Slaw, I faced constant threats. There really was this crazy long time of peace between me and the Psilons while we both just occupied the universe. I'd be curious, again, to review my past episodes and figure out exactly what year I would say that it became a Psilon human universe. That includes, let's say, like the Mershan still existed, the Trilarians still existed, but we were definitely getting towards the time where it was clear that humans and Psilons were where it was. I would say the main reason that humans and Psilons took off while Slaw and the Mershans remained behind is because the humans and the Psilons were really built to win science-wise. We were going to get a science advantage. And resources were so scarce in this small universe that the science resource edge probably was the most dominant attribute. Like, for example, the Silesioids can barely do research. They need many, no, not the Silesioids, the Sacra. The Sacra need many planets in order to have many different large population bases, in order to have an effective science department at all. Otherwise, their science is almost never happens. So the humans use diplomacy to keep most of their enemies at bay. while the Psilons were sort of the big brothers, they had a bigger fleet earlier on. People didn't mess with them. I was able to trade with the Psilons to get technology very often. And so that put us on, similar footing in some regards, especially if I were to invade a planet with my Marines. In fact, I intend to do that. I don't intend to really just waylace to the universe. My decisive victory in this battle was awesome. I'm totally just wiping the map clean of Cylon ships. This fleet, I have about 80 battleships. I can divide them up. I will blockade the whole universe and send my troopers planet by planet until I have assimilated the entire Cylon Empire under the human banner. Wow, they actually got some return fire in. I bet they're able to destroy 1 or 2 or even 4 ships. Ouch. Those stellar converters, they're harsh. In fact, when I invade Orion, I hope I can steal a stellar converter technology. And then, I don't know, I might explore destroying the toxic worlds and rebuilding them as Gaia planets. Of course, the only toxic world I think I control is occupied by Psilocydes, and they don't need food, so maybe I'll just let them live in their toxic world. Feels like home for them. So I think those plasma balls take like a turn before they do damage. I don't know how much damage they really do. So, this game was clearly won, really with diplomacy. So I used diplomacy to keep the Mershon at bay. I used diplomacy to get people to give me money. I used diplomacy to get a lot of science. I used diplomacy to make myself allies with powerful people. For example, remember how the Altarians attacked Slaw, and then I snuck in and stole Slaw? And that turn before, I had given Altair 2 back to the Altarians, and then the Altarian battleship went off to Slaw, and it bombarded Slaw. It seriously weakened it. Then I snuck in there and I took it over. And so that was a way that I used my friendship with the Altarians to actually have a ship orbiting their planet. And then I don't know if at that time we were at an alliance yet, but I followed their ship. I think we were an alliance. But I followed their battleship to Slaw, where I profited greatly. In fact, another thing that I did beyond diplomacy in this game is I used the Massacre as a workforce population across all my worlds, increasing my population limits. Even though I'm a human, I got to take advantage of Slaw populations, and I got to take advantage of Sakura shipbuilding. Sakura builds ship. I think they build ships with some sort of like plus 25% bonus. So my fleet was able to be constructed faster. Look at all the battleships I was able to roll out in I guess it took me like 35 turns to build this fleet. But even though I was human, it was really nice to be able to just take advantage of Slaw's working qualities. So I'd put humans on science and I'd put Slaw on shipbuilding. So that was a real strength of my empire. If I hadn't had Sakra, I would have gone after the Trollarians because they have population bonuses. And then I might have figured out what other race I could use to build ships better. Like if there were Klaxiclons, I could kidnap them and use them for production. As you see, kidnapping races and using them to augment my own racial bonuses is it's a strong way to build your empire. So let's invade. They have a lot of defense, but man, I have Admiral Diablo. Tough to beat that guy. Plus 25, man, that is an important attribute. When you combine the low G penalty. Let's see here. What advantages do they have? Alright. I actually have, across the board, I appear to have advantages in the future battles. Mauler device. Oh, yes! I finally have a weapon that can really crack through planetary barrier shields. The Mauler device will allow me to shoot their planets. A death ray. They're giving me everything. I guess this is a sign of like, wow, the game is saying you just obliterated all these ships. There's debris everywhere. There's probably like corpses floating. There's not a vacuum in space. It's more like a misty red nebula filled with blood and body parts. Occupies the orbit around Psilon. Remember, each Doom Star, and there were 56 Psilon Doom Stars, each Doom Star is the size of a planet, populated with hundreds of thousands of people. That debris and those biological components and the waste that they never got a chance to dispose of, that's all just in orbit around Psilon right now. Or Orion. I bet if you're on Orion, it's like the most frightening meteor shower you've ever seen. So not only is there this terrifying meteor shower, then you see the Space Marines coming through the clouds. It's like the clouds are on fire, and from that fire merge distant men who are upon you with Admiral Diablo and their power suits and their plasma rifles. So a death ray. Wow. I wish I could retrofit my ships already with the new beam weapons I just stole, but I don't have time. It's time for me to conquer the Psilons as fast as possible. Yes, any hope of peace ended when our military attacked the colony in the Orion system. I know, man. I'm sorry. First off, I hate seeing so many Psilons not working on science. It would have been nice to have gotten the barrier shield that they use that protects their planet so effectively. I don't need a starbase. Alright, here's what I want to do. I am going to design some low budget or even no budget weapon ships. These ships maybe just have one death ray. I just need this to cut through planetary barrier shields. We'll just mount it forward. Call it Raphael. Can I fit a frigate like that? Alright, I want a battle scanner. So my death ray might actually land. Should we call it, we'll bring it back, it's called the Gripen 2. And the reason I'm building Gripen 2s is so I can get some death rays sprinkled among my fleet, because otherwise it just takes a while to attack planets. It's not very fun. And heck, now that I just destroyed their fleet, I don't need such a big fleet to take a victory. I mean, they had such a huge population. It was such a problem because I couldn't compete with the volume of ships that they brought. Let us go ahead and finish a peacemaker there. No, I don't want peacemakers, that's right. If I'm going to build a peacemaker, might as well build it with death rays or a mauler device. Always hits, 2 times damage penalties. Let's go with death rays. So I'm using the death rays so I can attack planets for the most part, so it's like, why even have the plasma torpedo? Call it Peacemaker 2. Of course, my fleet's so big, I can quit pretending. Let's not buy that. $50,000. Okay, I conquered this massive fleet. I am going to send many of my ships after that squad. All right, you 9. Go to Trilar. Same with you. I want troop transports. We'll send all my troop transports. My goal is to conquer Trilar. Alright, we'll send all those strangers. Okay, U9. And Depeche. Take with you. You go get air superiority. I'll just keep my fleet. Let's go Pesci. U9. Shall go to monotone. Wow. All right. 9, 12. Alright, so let's just take 9. Alright, I'm going to take this big fleet of battleships. They have a lot of battleships, so I'm going to go take that to Mentar, because my battleships will be able to attack the planet with all the many, all the different plasma torpedoes that I have installed. Okay, so I'm going to save my game. That was the epic and decisive episode 42.